Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome to this special map tour here for Welker Farms. Now this is a genuine farm based in Shelby, Montana, and this is actually quite a famous farm. This farm is run by the Welker family. They have a YouTube channel called Welker Farms Inc. Currently have over 60,000 subscribers, very, very popular, and they do all sorts of wonderful little live streams and bits and bobs, and I highly recommend you check out the channel so you can see the real life operation of this farm and also some of the equipment. Now they're very famous for running a lot of big buds. They have 2 big buds that they own themselves, plus a sprayer which they converted from an old case sprayer and turned it into a big bud sprayer, which they called Big Brute. Now that mod has also been released today, which is by Blacksheep Modding. This map actually is by Mapper's Paradise, the guys that won the modding contest last year for the best map. So we're going to jump in and we're going to take a look at Big Brute, and we're going to take a look at the map, and then towards the end I'll also switch on the special Geo that has also been released today by Mapper's Paradise, which is the Shelby, Montana Geo, which has been designed specifically for this map. So we'll be looking at 3 things with this map tour, not just the map, but also we're looking at the Geo and also at Blacksheep Modding's Big Brute sprayer. So let's jump in and take a closer look. And this is where we start, here at the main sort of farm itself. We pop the map open for a second. You can see we've got a lot of big fields. This is very much a big bud map. You know, it's designed, well, I say it's designed, obviously this is based on a real farm. It's been squidged and squashed in places to make everything fit, but it is a genuine, you know, based on a genuine map location and a genuine farm. A few things have been kind of fudged a little bit for gameplay purposes, but on the whole it's a very, very authentic kind of rendition. So as I say, this is kind of perfectly suited for the Big Bud DLC. If you already have it, or if you're a PC player and you have access to Big Bud mods, then you know, this is, you know, a map that screams out Big Bud. You know, some huge fields. I mean, the field we start with here, field 2, we don't have an exact size on it, but field 3 just above is 22 hectares. So we're probably talking around about 20 hectares for our starting field. We only have the 1 field to start with, but as I say, it's around 20 hectares, so you'll get quite a lot just off this 1 field.
Hi, this is Welker speaking. I just want to say welcome to my family farm, and I hope you all have a great time on the farm.
And we have some custom sound effects on this map as well, including a little voiceover intro there from Nick from Welker Farms. Nick is the guy who kind of runs the YouTube channel. I'll see if I can find which one is Nick actually. This is Nick here on the end. That's his brother Leg Arms, and that's his father, and I'm not actually sure. I'm guessing that's Nick's wife, and I think that's Leg Arms' wife, and obviously their kids, and I think that's his mother there, but that's his father. So that's the family for Welker Farms, and you'll see just here, I'm just going to back away so we don't get that little voice prompt again. We've actually got a treasure hunt for the nuggets. Now on most maps, you know, bar the odd exception, and I'm looking at you, American Outback, where they're all 100 nuggets stacked in one single spot. So you collected one, you collected them all. On pretty much every other map, you know, that has nuggets, that you go out, you find the first 10, the rest pop on the mini map, and then you can go off and you can collect them. Now with this one, all 100 are in a hidden location, and there's a treasure hunt to go and find them. Now I'm not going to show you the nuggets on this video. I know I do on my map tours, I normally show the nuggets toward the end, but for the people that want to actually do this treasure hunt and do it for real, I'm not going to show the nuggets for that reason. They'll be done in a separate video which you will be able to watch if you want to see exactly where those nuggets are. If you can't find your way through all the clues, or if you can't find the clues, then that video will be a step-by-step from clue to clue to clue to the nuggets, so you can actually find them. There are 7 clues in total. So let's take a look at the farm. So we have a big shed just here, and this is the main sort of workshop. This is where they do all their sort of repair work and maintenance work, and this is also where they built the Big Brute sprayer, which we'll be taking a look at soon. If we pop this first door open, there's a lot of doors that do move in here. There's a few that don't as well, and there's also a few little other bits and bobs that are hidden as well. So you can see that these doors do open. These sort of standard doors, these are quite slow, but they do open. You have to hold your finger down on the open door button, and they will open. And this one here opens as well, as you can see. It takes a little while for these to open up. And inside we've got a couple of people here. I think this is supposed to represent leg arms. It's just a generic model, and this I think is supposed to represent Nick, but it looks spookily like Dexter from the TV series Dexter, complete with the stalker vest that he wears and the leather gloves. So I'm pretty sure that's actually a model of Dexter, you know, right down to is it Michael Scott Hall, I think his name, or Michael C. Hall. It looks like his face as well. So yeah, that to me is Dexter. I didn't even know there was a Dexter video game or a Dexter character model, but yeah, there we go. So this is the main workshop. This is where we can sort of bring stuff around to kind of poodle around with. Now I'm not 100% certain if we do actually have an interaction symbol in here. I can't see one, so I'm not sure where we could actually modify any equipment. But there are some really cool little interactive features in here, including these control boxes. Now we can actually move these using the door prompts. There are a couple of these that we can actually use. There's that one there, and there's another one just here as well. Now we get the door prompt. It's not for this door, it's actually for this box just here. So again, you can see we can actually move that control system along there. It's a nice little cosmetic. It doesn't really do anything to the gameplay, but it's a nice little cosmetic. And then this is really nice as well. I like this. If we flip the switch on this, you can see the arms of the lift fold in, and then it raises up. And then again, flipping the switch again, lowers the lift, and the arms fold back out again. It's a really nice feature. It's just a shame that we don't actually have a workshop interaction icon here, so we could actually perhaps try and put something on the lift and fix it that way, or at least bring it in here where we've got this large sort of tool shed area. This bit here, this actually is where they actually constructed the big brute, and also where they work on their big buds. You know, they bring it into this section of the workshop just here. So yeah, really good to see. We've got light switches on the walls. It's a little tricky here because we've got 3 different controls that all use the same buttons. We've got the light switch which uses circle, we've got this door that uses circle, and we've got this door that uses circle as well. So you have to be kind of careful with your positioning so you don't toggle everything at once. But as you can see, we do have more door options, and this door opens as well, as you can see. So loads of interactivity in this particular building, loads of doors that we can open. We have got working lights in here as well. Really nice. This is like the main hub when it comes to the farm itself. And then we have lots and lots of little storage buildings on the side. So we have this little building just here, nice little storage shed, and we do have lights in here. This is for the outside, I believe. There we go. There's the outside light that's come on. This door opens as well, as you can see. So again, lots of interactivity. Same here. We've got a door that opens. We've got a light switch that opens, or switches on, sorry, for the outside lights, the exterior lights. We've also got this big door that opens up, and this is where a big chunk of our starting equipment is. So as you can see, we have a Stoll front loader with buckets. We also have a Case 1455. We have a Case Optum CVX 300 and a front weight as well. And then just here we have the Lemken Gigant, which is a 12 meter cultivator, and then the Amazona Condor, which is a 15 meter seeder. So a lot of really nice equipment to get us started. A decent good sized tractor as well. If we pop around the corner, you can see we also have this Flegel grain trailer just here, and a New Holland roll belt round baler. And then we also have a Twin Star just here as well. So quite a nice little mini selection of equipment. You can see we also have, you know, some static vehicles dotted around the farm as well. We've got this really old low loader. This looks absolutely fantastic. It's just a shame we can't actually drive one of these. You know, it looks really big and imposing. I really like the look of that. And then down here we have a nice little scenic area here. We have our silos. And we also have a static water trailer and a static sort of truck model just here as well. There is one thing that is important to know with this map, if you haven't been following the progress of it. There are no animals on this map at all apart from the chickens. So there's no pigs, no sheep, no cattle. It's a crop farm only. Now there is a logging point, so if you want to do some log work, then you can for the winter months. But there is no animals in this. There's no animal husbandry, no livestock, no breeding of any kind. It's, you know, a few chickens in a hutch, which are pretty close actually. Chickens are just a bit back here. There's the chickens, just there. Look. Sort of just roaming free around here, but that's it. You know, apart from the chickens, you know, there are no animals on this at all. So yeah, this is a pure farming map. You know, there's no, as I say, no animals. It's crop work and then maybe a little bit of logging if you fancy doing that. And these houses here, this is obviously the main family farmhouse. This is where Nick's parents live. Nick and Leg Arms have their own houses. That's these two houses just here. I'm not sure which one's which. I think that's Leg Arms' house, and I think that's Nick's house, if memory serves me correct. But we still have more to look at here at the main yard. So obviously we have this little storage shed just here. It doesn't go back very far. That's because the rest of it is covered here, and again all of these doors open up, as you can see. So you can see I'm getting door prompts on each of these, but we've got another little storage shed, and this is the other side of that wall, so that little single area is just there. So we've got a nice little bit of storage just here for some more equipment, as if we want to stick it in there as well. This here is the back side of that workshop we looked at the start, and then as we move around here, this is all static scenery over here, so we can't interact with anything around here. These doors, these garages, these don't open, and obviously we can't go in the main house either. We do have a little well here. Now I don't know if we can get water from it, but seeing as we don't need water, it doesn't really make a difference, does it? We don't have any animals that are going to need water. We don't have any in-game mechanics that require us to spray water on our fields, so it is what it is. So there we go, that is kind of the farm itself. Now there's no silos here at this part of the farm. They are actually located somewhere else, and they are located over here at the Welker Grain Elevator, and this is also where our combine is as well. Now we need a way to sort of move around the map, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lease, if I can remember where sprayers are, there they are. I'm going to lease the Big Brute, and we're going to drive around the map on the Big Brute. It's actually quite nippy at 37 miles an hour. It can move, so we're going to lease one of these. There we go, and we're going to have that reset to the farm. And the reset point is right behind me. Here we go. This is the Big Brute, and as you can see, it comes complete with the Welker Farms logo on the side of it. As I say, this was originally a case sprayer that was then converted into a big bud. It looks absolutely fantastic, and if you haven't seen it, then I do highly recommend checking out the YouTube videos that show this being built from scratch. You know, the conversion process, turning it into a big bud. It's absolutely brilliant. Oops, there we go. And you can see inside we've got ourselves a nice little control system. Got ourselves a little clock just on the side there. This actually looks really nice in here. Really do like this. Just looking to see what controls we have. We do have interactive control on the door, as you can see. It actually opens really quickly, doesn't it? And of course we've got the usual features, so you know, we've got front lights, We've got extra working lights, and that's it. Those are the two settings. We don't have reverse lights on this, but we do have front and full beam. We do have working indicators, as you can see, including at the back. There's indicators. No beacons on this, but there we go. And a custom sound as well, which sounds awesome. And there you can see our little speedo there, giving us a 37.9 miles per hour dashboard. So we're going to make our way over to the Welker Grain Elevator. That's our next stop. Oh, this thing sounds fantastic. Oops, missed my turn. Now I'm curious actually as to whether or not this actually damages crops. Let's no, this looks like it's configured with narrow wheels, so it looks like you won't have to worry about it damaging crops if you drive through, because I do have crop destruction switched on, and as you can see, it's not damaging the crops. So even though it has these huge, great big rear wheels, it looks as though it has been configured as though it has narrow wheels, so it won't damage your crops. And if we open the arms up while we're driving along, just so you can get an idea of the working width of this thing. It's pretty big. It's got a big tank as well. I think the biggest tank available in the game at the moment, over 6,000 litres. We just take a little bit more look at the details here. 33 metre working width, which is pretty big. It's not the biggest, but it's pretty big. 6,200 litres. Now that is bigger than any of the other sprayers that we have, bar the exception of an add-on tank for the Holmer Terra variant, which can have a big tank slapped on the back of it, which holds like 25,000 litres, but that's an expansion. It's not an actual sprayer itself. So all of these you can see here, we're looking 34 is the biggest there. So it's just, and they're 36 on the Lieb. So it's not quite the biggest boom arc, but it's certainly right up there, and it's definitely the biggest tank by about 1,000 litres, I think. Oh no, not quite 1,000 litres. Yeah, the New Holland's huge, but this is, the Big Brute is still bigger than the New Holland, as you can see. So a massive capacity and really, really big working capacity. And again, you can lower the boom down or raise it up as well. Really nice to see. So we'll leave that there, folding itself back up, and we'll take a look here at the grain elevator. Now this is the silos, and you can see also this is where our combine lives. Now in reality they do keep it in this shed. They have a combine which they keep in here, and so this is kind of like the dedicated home for the combine, but I think they've left it out just so you can see where it is. It might not actually, see, will it fit? It should fit. Yes, it will. So there we go. So this is the genuine home for this combine on this map, and it's not specifically this model that they own, but it is a pretty large, pretty decent sized case combine that they have, and that is where it lives. I think the header lives in there as well. And you can see we've got a bit of a scrapyard over here as well. Lots and lots of old bits of broken down machinery, things that just don't run or don't work anymore, including a couple of old combines here. Lots and lots of junk. And here's our grain point. So this is where we tip our grains in there, and then this is where we retrieve our grains from, just here. So that's our unload point and our pickup point for our grains, and that's our storage there. Let's see what the storage capacity is. It's only 100,000 litres, which is not much at all when you consider the size of these fields. So if you're going to be farming on this map, you are definitely going to need to put some silo expansions down, because it just isn't enough, for multiple fields. It's enough for one or two, but not for multiples. You can see we've got some more broken down equipment over here as well. Here's our sprayer, our Caroel sprayer. And we actually have a seed point just here as well. So this is a great place for us to actually refill our seeds. I wonder if there's a fertilizer point nearby as well. Again, there you can see the pallets there to kind of denote that. yeah, I wonder if perhaps over here is maybe a liquid fertilizer point or a solid fertilizer point. I'm not 100% certain where the fertilizer point is. It might actually be here where this sprayer is. Possibly. I don't know. I'll have to play about with that one. And there's our header. We don't have a trailer for it. We just have the header loose on the ground. So you might want to perhaps buy yourself a header trailer. So that is the grain silo. That's where, you know, we can store our grains. So where are we going to head to next? Well, we're going to follow this up and we're going to go and take a look at leg arm storage over here and the Mccoy millwork. And then once we've done that, we'll head over to the straw barn and then we'll pop down here to the grain elevator down here and the shop. Now, in terms of sell points, you know, the Chs Grain Elevator in the bottom right corner is the only real sell point for our grain, but the millwork will accept wood chips because that is the logging sell point, and the straw barn will obviously accept straw, grass and hay. So let's make our way north. And you can just see popping into view there at the top there, that is leg arms storage. I do love the sound of this big brute, it is awesome. And here we are at leg arm storage, and this is just a large area that we can basically turn into an expansion if we want to for our farm. You know, there's no ownership issues over here, so it's just an area with a big shed there, as you can see, to store some equipment in. And then these little bays here. Now, there's no BGR on this either. There's no silage BGR, so or BGA, sorry. So these bays here, they're not silage pits. They're just empty storage bays. So I suppose if you wanted to, you could try and put some loose stuff in here. Now, the walls do actually look a little bit hokey. There's gaps showing on all of them, as you can see. Some of them are quite big. So I don't know collision-wise how strong these are, whether the stuff would spill through the side of them or not. But as you can see, there's nothing popping up to say compaction level or fill level or anything like that. You know, these are not the silage bunkers, they're just empty bays. So that's leg arm storage. Let's swing back around. Now, what's the quickest way? Well, there's the quickest way and then there's the proper way. We'll go the proper way. So we'll head down along the side of field 18 here, and then we'll swing a right when we get to this junction and follow it round till we get to Mccoy millwork. So we'll cut between these two fields. I'm assuming there's a dedicated road that runs, it looks like it's a dedicated path that runs between 16 and 17, and we've kind of got this dirt path here in the grass. A lot of people have been waiting for this map for a long time. Watch out for this big rock just here. There are a few of those dotted around in between some of these fields, so combining some of these fields could be a little tricky. But yeah, here we are, we're on that proper dedicated pathway, as you can see now. Got a nice sort of gravelly surface beneath us. Yeah, some of these fields could be a little tricky to combine, depending on rock placement. So check your borders before you make your decisions as to what you want to combine, because it might not always be possible. And here we are over at the millworks. So again, we've got a nice big storage bay, very high roof on this, so if you want to store something like a scorpion in here or some big equipment, then you can do. You can hear some frogs ribbiting away in the background there. And we're going to follow this around here. Oops, just clip that fence. Actually quite like that. We don't see that netting fence on maps usually. It's a nice little difference there. See, we've got an area that's already been cleared, so again, if you wanted to put more stuff in there, you could do. Maybe you could put in some poplar in that area there. and turn that into a little workable area. A little bit of frame stuttering as we move into there. It might be because I'm driving in a mod, it might be the map itself, I'm not 100% certain. Well, let's jump out and see what we have here. Nice big storage shed. No lights in here, no doors, just a big open shed. Skip past the combine, not the combine, sorry, the forklift, and we've got another one just here. So there's plenty of storage up here again for equipment if you want to. Some custom sawmill sound effects. They're becoming pretty standard now on most maps. You'll hear sound effects when you get to a sawmill. And then this is our log sell point just here. This crane, I don't think this works. There's no way to get up there. So yeah, it's just a static prop by the look of it. Not interactive at all. Now there is a wood chip sell point somewhere. I'm just looking to see if I can see where that is. I wonder if that's over here. Where is the wood chip sell point? It says Mccoy Millwork, so I'm wondering if that actually is the sell point for wood chips as well. I know there's a sell box marker over here, perhaps. Yeah, I'm looking. I'm not seeing where the dedicated sell box is for wood chips. So maybe there isn't one. Maybe it's a single sell point for both. Because I can't see anything else. I mean, we've got, as you see, look, we've got wood sale just here. This is obviously the sawmill itself, but there's no. Oh, hang on. There's a door we can open here. Here we go. Here's the sawmill cell box, so that means this door must open as well, and it does. There we go. So the wood chips are actually sold inside. That's quite clever, quite sneaky. It actually gives a purpose to having these, some of these buildings as well, that we can actually come inside and dump wood chips in here. So I quite like that. That's quite nice. There we go. So yeah, there's our wood point there. So let's jump back in the Brute. So the next location is going to be the straw barn over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow the path back down this way, cut along this way, and just drive up to the straw barn. Now it's quite a long drive, and there isn't really a lot to see because it's just fields. So what I'll do is I'll actually meet you at that location. So I've just come back to the grain silo as I was cutting my way through, and this is the fertilizer point. I knew I'd missed it. It's right here on the entrance. So over there we've got our seed point, and then behind that we've got our silos. That's where the combine is and where it lives. That's our fertilizer tanks just there. So right, back on the road and off to the straw barn. Again, you can see we've got rocks in between these fields here. So you won't get a completely clean join between these. You've also got these weeds as well, and I don't know if these will be plowable or not. You can see I've got these weeds that kind of stand up. It may well be that they will stay there permanently. You may have those growing up through your crop. So I would recommend that you do some testing on a blank file before you try and join fields together, because if you don't like things like that sticking through, then you might have an issue. And we've got some telegraph poles here that kind of follow the edge of the field. They also cut through that field as well, so you could drive through, sort of drive around those. Let's see if they have collisions. Yes, they do. They do have collisions. So that's something to be wary of as well. Some of these fields just naturally going to have obstacles that will make joining them together a little bit tricky if you want to go for massive super fields. And there is the next stop. This is the hay barn. So I'll swing around here. Now some of these pathways are actually quite narrow, so you do run the risk with certain vehicles of causing a little bit of damage to crops. It's something to be wary of. And we've got an egg sell point here. We buy eggs. Now what else can we interact with over here? We've got a nice storage building over here. Is this the actual sell point? Yes, this is the sell point by the look of it. So this is also where the clue is that we'll look at in the video. This door opens as well. Yes, it does. And then over here we have a nice little storage pit just here. And then over here we've actually got quite a big building with opening doors as well. So you can see that we have door control. Do we have lights in here? I don't see any lights. I don't see any light switches. And then obviously this door on the side, I think this will open as well, won't it? Yes, it will. So there we go. That is our sell point over here. Again, we've got a collection of broken down equipment and a skip with some rubbish in it. But that is the hay barn sell point. Nice little location, sort of buried in the interior of a field. So there's only a couple of places left to look at now. That's the Chs Grain Elevator, which is our main sell point, and then the shop as well. And you can just see, like, it's just, you know, a little bit of rolling hills, nothing overly steep, but we do have some obviously obvious changes in elevation, as you can see. Distance kind of pops in and out, and we've got kind of static Google Earth territory as our kind of border, as you can see. Those shots of the hills in the background there. And here are our final two locations, just popping into view now. So we've got a nice little water feature just there. Again, it doesn't really matter whether or not there's actual working water there, because we have no purpose for water on this map, seeing as we don't have any animals. And here is the dealership. So any equipment that we buy spawns on this section here, I believe. And you can see here, this is our modification point where we can customize any vehicles. We have a little shop front over here, so we can pop here to pull up the shop menu. And we also have a cash point just inside this little storefront here as well. There is a clue on that wall there as well. Again, I'll be going through all this in another video later. And then around the back of here, again, we have a selection of scenic items. So we have this big skip here. It's got some propane and some gas in those barrels just there. Some old equipment that's in various states of disrepair, as you can see, including a combine that is propped up on two flattened wheels there. Very, very old combine here. This is a Forschritt, isn't it? Yeah, this is a Forschritt. You can just make out the logo, an E512, just rusting away in the back of this yard here. Another broken down piece of equipment there. Another tractor, and then back to the front where we have that spreader just there. And we have another dog. But this one barks, it doesn't growl, so slightly friendlier dog. And then we go, there's our store point just there. So the final location is this location just here. Now this is the main sell point. You can see we've got a little bit of a junkyard around the side here. Again, it's possible that we might be able to build stuff in there as a secondary location. I'm not 100% certain. And the gate will open if you get close enough. There we go. The gate does open, as you can see. Got a little hot dog burger stand just over there as well. And then this itself, as I said, this is the main sell point. So let's take a drive around in here, see what we've got. Got a little waypoint just here. And if we swing around the other side, this is our sell area just here. So let's drive in. Very long drive through here and then tip through here. And I think ideally you want to drive in the other way so that you've got space for a very long trailer to fit in the back of there. So if you're using, say, the Blacksheep 70,000 litre trailers, then you would want to drive in this way just so you can keep everything nice and flat and get the whole trailer in above that cell grate without sticking out at a very big angle at the back. Nice long drive through there. So that's the sell point itself. Let's just go around and take another look at the other side of it. You can see we've got a big storage area just here and some more scenic props there, container and a freight cargo trailer. And then another one of these big open storage bays just here for us to stick some equipment in if we want to. So if you want to kind of do some role playing as well with maybe a small transport company or something located, then there's plenty of space for you to stick trucks and other bits and bobs in here, you know, to kind of play around with the theme of the map. And then we also have this kind of forest area over here. This is the final thing to look at. So there's a couple of ways in and out of here. Just going to open up this gate first of all. There we go. And this is where we can do our logging. So obviously we have a few areas sort of dotted around. We've got one up near the logging point that's kind of been cleared already. You can plant in there, and while that's growing you can come and work this area over here. You can see you've got this sort of nice little run of trees all the way along here. Some barriers, plenty of log stands sort of dotted around as scenic props. A big log stand over there in the distance, just behind those trees, as you saw. And then you can come through to this side of the clearing. Got another one of these gates to open. This one actually opens out, so you need to be careful you don't park too close to that one, or else you will get pushed away. And we come into this big sort of cleared out area of a logging operation under progress. So again, got a nice little concrete staging area here if you want to actually make a logging company at this point. Lots of sort of trees in the surrounding area for you to start with, and plenty of space for you to go in and plant trees or plant poplar as well, and turn this into quite a sort of an in-depth functioning forestry area. So yeah, plenty of space for you to take a look at all those things. So there we go. That is Welker Farms. You know, lots and lots of fields, as you can see, and some of them reasonably small, some of them reasonably big. Let's just take a look at some of the pricings on some of these. So these are obviously the really small fields over here. So let's take a look at 24, which looks to be the smallest. This field here is 2 hectares. That's going to cost you 162,000, so quite expensive for a small field. Now if we take a look at some of the larger fields, so this one here I said was 22 hectares. This costs over 1.8 million, so you're going to need a lot of money on this farm. And field 1 here, this is obviously the biggest field. Let's see how much this one comes in at. This is a 45 hectare field, going to set you back nearly 3.7 million, so very, very pricey. A lot of work is going to be required to be able to earn enough money to own all of these fields. It may well be something that's, even with buying in, you know, getting all the 100 nuggets and getting the extra million, you're going to need that to upgrade some of your equipment for big buds and stuff, and larger seeders, cultivators, plows, etc. So it might perhaps be worth getting yourself, you know, a normal farm and dropping a money mob box and buying an extra couple of fields, because you're only going to have that one field to work when you first start. In your first year, if you're playing on seasons, it's going to be a very long, very boring year if you only have that one field to work. And given how expensive some of these other fields are, you just might not have the money for it without without dropping in. So it depends how much equipment you want to kind of mess around with, I suppose. You could always buy some of these smaller fields in your first year, and then on the profits from those then start to look, hey, there's different ways you could play this map. But there we go, that is the map itself. Now I did say that we would take a look at it with seasons, so bear with me just a second and I will switch seasons on and we'll take a look at the geo. So here we are back at the main farm. The geo is now loaded. You can see it's day 1 of early spring. Now this is a geo that will give you snow. Not always, but it will give you the possibility of snow. So let's take a quick look at some of the temperatures. So this is the crop cycle, as you can see. It's currently in Celsius. In Fahrenheit. We'll switch that to Celsius in a moment. But you can see very, very narrow planting windows. This is currently set for 9 days, but the final third of the season, basically. So if you're running a 6-day season, that would be days 5 and 6. We're on the 9-day season, so it's 7 to 9. Is the day for us to plant wheat, barley, canola. Even though the temperatures are good enough, we're outside the planting window, so you can't plant until the very end of spring. And then you're into summer before you can even start planting your soybean or your corn, and then potatoes, sugar beets, again end of spring for planting cycles. Now obviously we do have a secondary planting cycle for the wheat, barley and canola. You can see there we start at the end of summer and then they all carry through from the beginning of autumn through to sort of the end of the mid-autumn cycle is when those 3 come out of their planting window for the second cycle, but you only get 1 harvest per year. So this is obviously if you want to plant later in the year, you wouldn't be able to harvest them till the following summer. So it's entirely up to you how you want to go with that. Obviously the rest of them very rigid, a single planting option and then a single harvest option, and the harvest windows are quite narrow as well, as you can see. Just a couple of days where you can harvest your soybean, your corn or your sugar beets. So depending on the potential weather at the end of autumn, it could be a real mad dash to try and get all of that crop in if you do want to do that. And if we just switch that over to Celsius, you can see there in the forecast we do actually have snow predicted with a current temperature of -3 degrees and a ground temperature of 7. So the ground's actually a lot warmer than the air temperature. And then tomorrow we're looking at a ground temperature of -2 as the high and -2 as the low. So tomorrow there will definitely be snow. But that is the geo, and again that was designed specifically for this map. It's based on this location's actual weather pattern. So Nick and the rest of the guys from Welker will have obviously had some input into what the weather conditions are like and when they do their planting, and that will have been reflected in the creation of this geo. So there we go. That is the complete sort of Welker Farms package that is available. There is obviously the map that we're looking at now. There's the Shelby, Montana geo, also by Mapper's Paradise, that works in tandem with this map, which is fully compatible with seasons. And then to top it off, you've also got the Big Brute sprayer from Blacksheep Modding that was also released today. That is a genuine mod, a mod based on a genuine piece of custom-built equipment that is run and operated by the guys here at Welker Farms. It's a one-of-a-kind. It's the only one in its existence. It's a genuine piece of equipment, and I do highly recommend that you check out the Welker Farms channel and take a look at the videos of them building it, and also now that it's been built and has been in operation for a month or so, you can actually see footage of it up and running as well. So yeah, I'll leave some links in the description below to check those out. Don't forget, as I say, not featuring the nuggets in this map tour, because I know as it's a treasure hunt rather than a standard nugget hunt, some people may want to do that without the oh no, he spoilt the surprise bit. So that will be done in a separate video which you can watch. I'll leave the link to that in this description as well. And that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with another video very soon.